Hi everyone, it's me, Sasha Puppycat, and today I wanted to do a review of these two drawing apps, Huion Sketch and Adobe Draw. Both Huion and Adobe are responsible for making numerous products that cater to artists. So I thought it would be interesting to take a look at these apps that they had created for Android users and basically see what it was like to create art on them. However, by the end, I really felt like I needed to show you guys some art made on the main drawing app that I use, which is Ibis Paint X. I wanted you guys to see how I usually create my art and the type of artwork I was trying to create on Huion Sketch and Adobe Draw. Also, because I'm a huge Bee and Puppycat fan, I decided to do fan art of them for this video. So first, we're going to take a look at Huion Sketch. Huion Sketch is a surprisingly decent drawing app. It's very simple and it doesn't have a lot of features or brushes, but it isn't very difficult to create some really decent art on this. One thing that I really liked about Huion Sketch is that it has a lot of simple but very useful tools. I very much like that they had a lasso tool and a fill tool, and also the ability to transform your drawing if you wanted. The transform tool was very useful to me because I mentioned before in a previous video that I like to flip my canvas to make sure that my drawing looks okay. And I was able to use that tool to flip my drawing to take a look at it, and I did notice some mistakes and I was able to quickly fix it, so I'm glad that they added this feature at least. Another thing that I really like about Huion Sketch is that it's very easy to zoom in and out so that you can add details. And stuff like that really creates a sense of ease when you're drawing. That's something that I had to do a lot, but I did appreciate how easy it was. I also really like the fact that it had a multiply and overlay layer because those are features that I often use when I'm doing my typical drawing process on Ibis Paint X, so I really appreciated the fact that it also had those features. One thing I will say though is that I didn't like the fact that this app did not have a correction tool. However, I do appreciate the fact that Huion at least has shape tools because I used it a lot to create certain features on my drawing, which helped my line art to look a lot smoother. But I still wish that it had some sort of correction tool. It definitely would have made it a lot easier for me to create cleaner lines. Another thing I didn't like about Huion Sketch is that it does not have a lot of brushes. I looked through the brushes that this app has and there was just not a lot to pick from. I ended up using this very basic sort of simple brush. I was still able to make some decent line art, but the brush itself was just not very impressive. It very much got the job done, and in the end I still thought the drawing turned out okay. The line art just wasn't what I was used to doing. There just wasn't a lot of brushes to really pick from. I also noticed that a lot of tools that I really like were missing from this app. For instance, it didn't have a clip-in or alpha lock feature. And I really like those features because it makes it very easy for me to change the colors of my line art. I use those tools very often and it was very disappointing that this app just didn't have them. In the end, I was still able to make a very decent drawing with Huion Sketch. The app itself is just not very impressive, but it's still a perfectly functional drawing app. If you want to use this app to create some decent artwork, you can. It's just very simple and it just doesn't have a lot of features. But I will say that the ones that it does have are still pretty useful. I still very much like the artwork that I created, and I really hope that Huion tries to improve on this app in the future, because I do think that it's an okay drawing app. The next app we're going to move on to is Adobe Draw. The first thing that I want to say about Adobe Draw is that it was very difficult to draw on. Like Huion Sketch, it is very simple, but even more so. I really had a hard time figuring out why this app was even made. It was just very difficult to use. So I could not zoom in and out with ease on this app. And there were times when I would repeatedly double tap the screen trying to zoom in and out, which would sort of undo my work, and there just didn't seem to be a way for me to turn off this function. It also had very few brushes. I think all the brushes that you're seeing on the side right now are all the brushes that this app has. Or maybe I'm wrong, but I wasn't able to find any more brushes. And it also had very little features. I mean, the multiply layer and the overlay layer that I'm used to using for doing my shadows and my highlights were just missing from this app. And that, of course, was very disappointing because, as I mentioned before, I use those features very often. So I very much didn't like that, but I still tried my best to make something that was decent. So I ended up doing this drawing of Puppycat. But I will say this, I had planned on doing a full image of both Bee and Puppycat. However, because of the issue I was having with continuously undoing my work whenever I was trying to zoom in and out, I decided that it was best if I just do something very simple, because I realized it would take a frustratingly long time for me to actually do a full drawing of both Bee and Puppycat. So I decided to just do something of Puppycat instead. I will say that I'm glad that this app actually has pressure sensitivity. It's not a feature that I use very often, but I'm still glad that they have it because it's still a very useful function. And I think it also had a correction feature, or I guess the brush that I was using was just very good because I was able to make some very smooth lines. So in the end, I wasn't disappointed with the lines that I created. I actually thought that looked pretty good. And luckily, I was still able to create an art piece that I really liked on this. So I wasn't mad at the finished drawing that I did. I thought it looked very cute and I very much liked it. I just didn't like the fact that it was so difficult to draw on this app. I mean, I can't say I had that much fun drawing on it, and that's something that's very important to me. I want to know that I enjoy using an app and I enjoy the drawing process, and I just didn't enjoy using Adobe Draw. It was really a challenge to create something decent on this. And I don't know what it was. It was just such a very simple and basic app, and I can't say that I would recommend it, but I still very much liked how my drawing turned out. And I will say that I think Huion actually did a better job of creating an app for artists that use Android. I had a much easier time creating a full drawing on Huion than I did creating something on Adobe Draw. So the last app that we're going to take a look at right now is my main drawing app that I usually use, which is Ibis Paint X. Now, before we begin, I do want to mention that Ibis Paint X is the main app that I use to draw, and it's also the main app that I use to record my drawing process. Ibis Paint X has this function where it automatically records what you draw, and I really like that. However, whenever I try to save my videos in a way where you can actually see all the windows and the brushes and all the tools that I use, the quality of the video is just very low, which is why you aren't able to see it right now. The quality of the video just tends to be better when it's presented in the way it's presented to you right now, where it's very much fixed and you can't really see me like zooming in and zooming out or selecting the brushes and everything like that. And that's something that's very unfortunate because I did not record my drawing process because Ibis Paint X records it automatically, and that was a mistake because now I'm not able to really show you guys sort of a lot of the features that this app has. And well, that's something that I just don't really like about it. But overall, Ibis Paint X is a very decent app. And basically that's why I chose to do something on this for you guys to see as well. I wanted to show you guys what kind of art piece I would create if I wasn't limited to using apps like Huion Sketch and Adobe Draw. So I did this wonderful drawing of Bee and Puppycat, which turned out very lovely. I think it looks a lot more impressive than what I was able to create in Huion Sketch and Adobe Draw because Ibis Paint X has a lot more features. It is a much more impressive drawing app. However, I'm not going to say much about Ibis Paint X today because this video isn't really about the main app that I use. I just wanted to show you guys what the drawing would look like if I had created it on the main drawing app that I usually use. And this is what I came up with. So this is what I was aiming for with using Huion Sketch and Adobe Draw. I don't know if I completely achieved this look, but I can say that I don't think either of the art pieces that I created on those apps look bad to me. I really don't hate how they turned out, but I do think that both those apps were a lot more challenging to use. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy my content, please consider becoming a patron. You'll have early access to speed paint videos, line art, and sketches, and you can even get your name featured in the end credits of my videos. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Nobody told me it would be long.